Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Jago Castro. Vice President Sara Duterte has given up her office's request for a 500 million peso confidential fund. In a statement sent to Senator Sani Angara, who chairs the Senate Finance Committee, Duterte said that she has withdrawn her confidential fund request because the issue has become divisive. She added that as Vice President, she swore an oath to keep the country peaceful and strong. In the same plenary session on Thursday, Duterte also dropped the request for the secret funds for the Education Department. Speaking on 1PHS sa Totoo Lang, Senator Francis Tolentino noted that Congress can enact a law to establish conditions and definitions for confidential funds. In this way, he believes that there will be limits, transparency, and accountability in allocating such funds to agencies.
Dapat po ay gumawa talaga ng sariling batas ang Kongreso patungkol po dito, setting up the parameters in accordance with the Constitution. Kasi ang nakalagay po sa saligang batas, reasonable conditions as may be determined by law. So, ito po siguro ay dapat maisabatas kung ano po yung hangganan, ano yung definition, rather than delegate justice to administrative agencies.
The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, or NGCP, has branded as unfair the Energy Regulatory Commission's decision to disallow some of the NGCP's expenses. NGCP Assistant Vice President Cynthia Alabanza argued that the ERC should be blamed for its failure to conduct the needed regulatory reset. She stressed that their expenses are legitimate and are based on what the ERC had approved. ERC Chairperson Attorney Mona Lisa Di Malanta acknowledged this in an interview on The Big Story, saying the regulatory reset should have taken place before 2015 but was delayed due to various challenges. Despite the past shortcomings, Di Malanta emphasized the importance of focusing on the ongoing reset efforts and making the best of the current situation while also preparing for the next regulatory period.
We are where we are, and we are doing the reset now. So we can get stuck saying what should have been done. We are conducting in parallel the reset already for the next period, which is really what regular programming is, which is a forecast setting of the requirements of NGCP.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Watching One News now, I'm Jago Castro. Newly appointed Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. has started a reorganization within the DA with the appointment of his Chief of Staff. Laurel signed Special Order 1360 designating lawyer Alvin John Balagbag as new Chief of Staff and Head Executive Assistant. He will be replacing Agriculture Assistant Secretary Rex Estoperez. At the same time, Laurel also appointed Assistant Secretary Genevieve Velicaria Guevara as head of the Kadiwa program, previously handled by dismissed Assistant Secretary Christine Evangelista. Meanwhile, sources from the DA said that Laurel had already issued a memorandum directing all employees covered by contract of service to start vacating their offices. We're kicking off tonight with a joint exercise between Philippine troops and allied countries known as Kamandag 7. Kamandag is an abbreviation for Kaagapay ng mga mandirigma ng dagat or Cooperation of the Warriors of the Sea. This is the 7th iteration. Over 1,000 Philippine Marines are doing joint drills with their counterparts from the US, Japan, and South Korea. The exercises include amphibious landing drills, coastal defense, special operations, and disaster response in key military locations like Batanes, Zambales, and Palawan. Troops from the United Kingdom will also join as observers. This is considered the biggest set of drills to date with the country's defense allies, which will run until November 20. Military officials insist, though, that the drills are not in response to the recent incidents in the West Philippine Sea.
This particular exercise will not be directed against a particular issue, particularly the West Philippine Sea.
So recent events don't have anything to bear on it. Kamandag is all about working together, interoperability, learning from each other, and to meet training objectives.
Kaka-cellphone mo yan, a phrase we've heard all too often. But here's a warning for men who use their phones for hours and hours. A recent study showed that cell phone use is linked to lower overall sperm quality. Mobile journalist Evan Tarinque gives us a front seat to that story.
Let's admit it, Filipinos are really immersed in using their cell phones. But does it really have bad effects on masculinity? In a study conducted in Switzerland, it was found that there is a connection between the decrease in sperm count and excessive use of cell phones.
Malaki yung effect ng radiation coming from the cell phone, especially everyday ginagamit. Kailangan aware din tayo na meron talagang effect ito sa ating sperm count and vitality.
This further decreases when combined with smoking, obesity, alcohol consumption, and psychological stress. In the extensive study spanning over a decade, it was also observed that there is a correlation between the strengthening of signals and radiations from 2G, 3G, and 4G with a decline in sperm count.
Yung sperm count natin is very important. So fertility, especially sa male factor in fertility. Ito ay nagko-contribute sa pagiging potent ng ating sperm makapag-reproduce tayo properly.
So when it comes to male fertility, they say that his environment is a significant factor. If the patient is having difficulty conceiving, the first thing the doctor asks is about the patient's background. It's possible that the patient was exposed to toxic materials, which could be making it challenging to conceive.
Kaya tinatanong namin usually yung pasyente kung ano yung trabaho niya. Kung meron siyang exposure dun sa mga toxins, may exposure siya sa heavy metal.
They say it's not harmful to use cell phone, but too much radiation is indeed the problem. That is why doctors continue to remind male patients to keep a healthy and strong body for a better chance of having a baby in the future. Mobile Journal Ivan Tarinque.
And that's it for this hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.